There are moments in tech where everything feels predictable, until one device suddenly flips the entire conversation. And right now, a single upcoming launch is doing exactly that. Not because of a spec leak, not because of a marketing teaser, but because the entire pricing narrative around this phone just cracked wide open. And what's behind that crack is way more interesting than the leak itself. Welcome back, viewers. Sam here. Like, share, and subscribe for more! So here's the wild part. A fresh price rumor exploded onto social media earlier today, and instantly the whole community started cheering as if Samsung had just pulled off the most generous move in the history of foldables. But hold on. If you take even a tiny step back, the numbers simply don't add up, and that's where things start getting deliciously strange. The device in question, Samsung's upcoming Z Trifold, is only days away from going official. And right when everyone thought they understood how premium this thing would be, a new leak claimed it would cost far below the expected price tag. You probably saw the posts: massive RAM, huge storage, the full futuristic triple hinge design, and yet somehow priced like a gently upgraded Fold, not a completely new category. That immediately raised eyebrows, and for good reason. A trifold isn't just a stretched out fold. It's a completely different beast. 3 display layers, more hinges, more engineering, more stress points, and a much higher production cost. So, if the leak were true, Samsung would basically be telling every Fold user, hey, you bought the wrong one. And that would never happen, especially when Samsung currently has zero global competition in the trifold space. But here's where the plot twist kicks in. The source behind that viral price leak, not exactly known for accuracy. In fact, he has a history of copying other people's posts and repackaging them. That's exactly what happened this time. He saw a Korean estimate, converted it straight to dollars using Google, and posted it online like it was a certified insider scoop. Except that's not how smartphone pricing works across regions at all. Want proof? Take the Z Fold's Korean price and convert it directly. You'd get a number far below the actual US retail price. That's the same mistake happening here, only this time it took over the internet because everyone wants the trifold to launch shockingly cheap. It's the perfect bait. A futuristic gadget with an unexpectedly friendly price. But unfortunately, this particular rumor is built on air. Still fun, but not real. Now let's get to the part that actually matters. Samsung isn't delaying this thing anymore. The Z Trifold is officially landing in Korea first, with multiple Asian markets following shortly after. Thanks to new Bluetooth filings, the US launch looks almost guaranteed too. Which means this isn't some limited region experiment. Samsung really believes in it. And honestly, the hardware explains why. Even though it looks thicker than a normal fold at first glance, when opened, it's shockingly close to the profile of Samsung's current foldables. But the moment you expand it fully into that massive 10-inch canvas, it stops feeling like a phone and starts feeling like an entirely new category. Samsung somehow kept the brightness, cameras, and overall performance on par with the top Fold model, but added a bigger battery with a triple-cell setup and a software experience that clearly wasn't rushed. Speaking of software, this is where Samsung quietly flexed harder than expected. The Trifold UI isn't just an extended version of the Fold interface. Samsung rebuilt multitasking in a way that feels natural on a triple-segment layout. Apps align cleaner, transitions are snappier, and the whole thing feels like Samsung has been planning this form factor for years behind the scenes. But here's the question everyone keeps asking: if this thing is ready, why isn't Samsung launching it everywhere at once? Is it hesitation? Is it low confidence? On the surface, a limited launch might feel like Samsung is unsure, but the real story is more practical than emotional. A trifold is exponentially harder to mass produce than a normal foldable. Getting 3 screen sections aligned perfectly, ensuring 2 hinges survive years of bending, training repair centers, preparing replacement parts. All of that requires more time and more control. A global release with immature production would be a disaster waiting to happen. You remember the original Fold's early issues? Samsung definitely does too. That's why the first wave is deliberately small, not because the device is weak, but because the stakes are too high to risk another public failure. Once early adopters in key regions give their feedback, Samsung can expand confidently without fear of another reputational hit. What's even more interesting is that firmware testing for both the carrier, locked and unlocked US models is now underway. This late shift hints that Samsung might have been testing the software privately, behind closed doors, while keeping development quiet to avoid leaks. And now that everything is getting finalized, the rollout is accelerating faster than expected. And just when things seemed predictable again, an extremely trusted insider stepped in with new details. According to him, the final name is set, the dual display brightness levels are confirmed. The outer panel hits stunning peak nits, and the actual rated battery capacity is slightly different from early rumors, but still impressive. The chipset is confirmed to be flagship tier. The only mystery left is which Snapdragon variant Samsung decided to go with. So yes, the price leak was fake. But the hype around this device? Absolutely real, and honestly justified. Samsung is about to launch the most futuristic phone the company has ever made, and the fact that it folds twice is only the beginning. The real magic is how seamlessly the software adapts and how confidently the hardware steps into a category with no real global rivals. Stay tuned, because the next few days are about to get very, very interesting.